What if I told you that the first 60 minutes of your day are literally determining your whole life trajectory? It might sound dramatic, but your morning routine actually is that important. What you choose to do with your morning can either make your day or break your day entirely. It can be the difference between a day of procrastination or a day of transformation, and that's why it's so important to pick the right habits. Most people sabotage their whole day within 15 minutes of waking up, and they don't even realise it. They get sucked into scrolling on social media, or snoozing their alarms, or even worse, having zero intentionality about the day. This sets the tone for your whole day, and you're practically forced into bad habits because you've already wired them in your morning routine. Luckily, in this video I'm going to be breaking down the ultimate morning habit ranking, from the worst possible morning habits to the habits of the top 1% performers. I've spent years studying top performers and their morning habits, and I've even experimented with hundreds of habits myself. And today I'm going to reveal which habits can be rocket fuel for your potential and which ones are silently killing your dreams. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into the morning habit tier list. So you can see we've got tiers ranked from worst way to start your day, some that are overrated in my opinion, then decent habits, strong habits, and then finally we get to the top 1% individual morning habits. So yeah, let's get straight into it with some of the worst habits, the worst way to start your day. So the first one that we're going to chuck in there is basically having zero intentionality about your day, having no plan whatsoever. I'm not saying that you need to, have a massive, extravagant plan, like I'm going to do this, and this, and do 3 hours of deep work. Just have at least some sort of basic goals or tasks you need to do, like even going for a walk or doing a food shop, just some kind of basic plan to give your day at least some structure, because otherwise you're just going to procrastinate and not end up doing anything at all. So that's why that's in the worst tier there. The next one is going to be consuming energy drinks pretty much as soon as you wake up, because you feel like you need them. I absolutely hate this. I've always hated this. I used to do it myself a few years ago, and you just crash at midday. It makes you feel like absolute shit. You end up becoming reliant on them, and they're just so full of crap and full of sugar that it's just an awful habit, awful way to start your day basically. And next we've got one of probably the worst habits that you can do in the morning, which is scrolling on social media or just scrolling on your phone in general, maybe even in bed before you get up. You're just teaching your brain that it's just giving it that instant gratification that it's going to be craving all day, and it's such a negative habit. It just makes you feel sluggish, and you won't get a productive start to your day whatsoever. It's a really negative habit, but something that we all struggle with from time to time. And the last worst habit is snoozing your alarm, because essentially when you think about it, you're literally starting your day off with defeat. Your alarm's going off because you set that alarm, you set that intention to get up at that time, and you're just admitting defeat as soon as you open your eyes. You're starting your day off on the back foot basically, and by sleeping for longer in bed in the morning, you're not actually getting more quality sleep, you're just almost delaying that state of sluggishness and that comatose state. You're just going to delay that into your day, and it might take you until dinner time to actually wake up, rather than just getting straight into your day on your first alarm. So those are definitely the worst habits to start your day with, so try and avoid them at all costs. So now we move into a tier which is, I think, are overrated in my opinion, but that's just my opinion, they might work for other people. So the first one that I think is overrated is listening to motivational podcasts or watching motivational videos first thing, because it might feel like you're doing something productive, but sometimes I see it as just another form of procrastination, because if you're just watching them passively and not really acting on the content at all, then it's kind of just like binge watching any video at the end of the day. So that's just my opinion. I think that one's overrated. The next habit that I think is quite overrated and more popular these days is waking up at a stupid time, 4 a.m. Because you see on social media and the rise of grind culture and David Goggins and stuff like that. You see more and more people thinking waking up at 4 a.m. is the pinnacle habit. Whereas I think it's highly overrated, because people tend to just reduce their sleep to wake up at 4 a.m, which is just, you're just going to burn out, and you're just going to feel like crap, and you're just going to feel sluggish. So I don't understand what the hype is around waking up at 4 a.m. because if you're still getting 8 hours of sleep, which you should be, then you're basically just having those 8 hours at a different time. Like, I don't really understand it, to be fair. I've tried it in the past and I just felt like crap at about the early afternoon, like 2 or 3 p.m. I just started to feel run down. So yeah, I not really understand that one, to be honest. But so the next overrated habit for me is taking like loads of supplements and loads of like multivitamins in the morning, because I just think they're something that you should get in your diet anyway. If you eat like a nutrient dense, balanced diet, I don't really see the need for them. I think you might become reliant on them as well. Obviously they have their benefits, but I feel like a lot of the time people just take supplements like creatine or like potassium, magnesium, just for like, because they see other people take it and they think they need to, and they don't really understand the full benefits of them. So yeah, I think that's overrated in my opinion. So now we move on to the decent habits. So first of all, we're going to have like a nutrient dense breakfast. So even on the little graphic there, we've got avocado and egg, which is good. That's something I tend to have quite a lot. Some kind of eggs, like healthy fats on like some like whole grain toast or something like that. Pretty boring, pretty standard, but it's just what I like. But the reason this is a decent habit is because it gives you energy for the day. Yeah, it's a great way to start your day. But you know, a lot of people fast through their breakfast until like into the afternoon, which can also be great for like some people have a lot more energy doing that, which is fair enough. So that's why it's just on the decent tier. And next in the decent habit tier is reading in the morning. So obviously reading's great and it's a better way to start your day than just scrolling and procrastinating. But for me, when I try this, it just almost makes me more tired. It doesn't really, I prefer to do it on a night time. Because obviously reading's great and all that, but yeah, it just tends to tire me out, which is why it's just in the decent habit. So next in the decent habit tier, we have stretching in the morning. So I've done this every day for 2 years now, and I still do it because I like it, but because it wakes me up, it loosens me up and like kind of just relaxes me and gets me ready for the day. But it's just in the decent habit tier because it's not as good at, the benefits that you get aren't as good as other habits. So yeah. So now we move into the strong habits here. So the first strong habit is morning visualization, which is something I've started trying to do recently. I was reading a book about Michael Phelps, who's like the most decorated Olympic athlete. He's a swimmer of all time. He won 23 gold medals, and he puts a lot of it down to visualization in the morning. He would visualize his races for the next day, like every little detail, and he would visualize the future, visualize himself winning the race and like flinging his cap off. And I've been trying to do this, like visualizing my goals, like getting really specific as well, like even down to the material things that you want in the future. Like imagine yourself like driving that car, like having that watch. I know it sounds stupid, but imagine yourself living the life that you want, basically. And it just helps to focus you. It improves your mood because it gets you like feeling about and thinking about that stuff. And yeah, it's just a really strong habit in my opinion, and something that I'll be doing more of. Next is any like breath work or meditation. So I do think this is a really strong way to start your day. It like reduces your stress, like reduces your cortisol levels, which is like the stress hormone. Yeah, and it just gives you good clarity going into your day so that you can become clear on everything, and it stops your overthinking, reduces your brain fog and all that. So yeah, this is something I like doing. The next strong habit, or the last strong habit, is cold exposure. So it's such a good way to start your day in my opinion. Try and get some cold exposure in there if you can. For example, I've been doing like cold showers for 2 years now, and I don't think there's any better way to get energy in the morning, in my opinion. Like talking about instant energy, you just feel like an instant rush of dopamine and energy, and yeah, that seems to last long into the day, which is great. And you're also just training yourself to become more disciplined, because when you do something uncomfortable, like that just becomes your new normal. So it's just such a valuable like mental habit as well. So now we come to the habits of top 1% individuals, and the first one is journaling and like goal setting. So yeah, this is absolutely priceless in my opinion. It's something you should definitely be doing if you're not already. So some form of journaling. So this can be like setting yourself goals for the day and tasks that you want to get done, even like prioritizing them in like a bullet point list. even like blocking out time as well, so you can get a good structure for your day going. And also writing down any thoughts that you've got, like it just reduces your brain fog and gets all your thoughts like into one place, so you can start to organize your thoughts. But yeah, when you journal in the morning, your days just seem to be so productive, and it's almost impossible to procrastinate when you've got your day like mapped out in front of you. So that's why it's a habit of the top 1%. Next, we have some morning exercise. Pretty standard, but you can't beat it really for that rush of morning dopamine, that sense of achievement that seems to carry into the rest of your day. Not to mention that it energizes you, raises the heart rate, and it just, you've started your day doing something difficult that you maybe didn't want to do, and that just has like a ripple effect on the rest of your day. So pretty straightforward one. This could be like running, going to the gym, absolutely anything, but yeah, pretty standard, but it's such a classic, if you like. And then personally, the one that I think is the best on this whole list is similar to kind of what I just said, but eating the frog. So doing your hardest task of the day first. So that could be your exercise, or that could be a work task. But yeah, this just teaches your brain to become disciplined, basically. When you get into the habit of doing something you don't want to do, then the rest of your day just seems so easy and you just become so productive. It's hard not to be when you've done the hardest task first. The science behind why it's so successful for boosting your discipline is because of the mere exposure effect. So when you expose yourself when you expose yourself to certain things, you become more comfortable with them. So that can work in a positive and a negative. But when you're in this scenario, when you expose yourself to doing an uncomfortable task first, that starts to become now your comfort zone. So your comfort zone's constantly expanding, where you can do more uncomfortable things and they just become the normal for you. So eating the frog can literally change the chemistry of your brain so you're completely used to doing difficult things. So yeah, that's why it's number one for me. So yeah, that's the breakdown of the best and worst morning habits. So if you can try to cut out these ones and maybe incorporate some at the top of the list into your morning habit, you can go from a procrastinator to a doer and start getting stuff done and transforming your days. So yeah, go ahead and use this list to transform your morning routine essentially. And if you did like this video, then go ahead and subscribe, and I'll be uploading self-improvement videos every single week. So I'll see you in the next one.